In the sprawling, majestic universe of Dune, we see faster-than-light travel, political conspiracies that span galaxies, and warriors with near-supernatural abilities. But there's a ghost in this machine, because there are no machines. No artificial intelligence, no thinking computers. In a future 10,000 years from now, the most advanced calculations are performed by the human mind. Why? The answer isn't in a footnote of history, it is the very foundation of their civilization. A memory burned into the soul of humanity. It is the story of a great and terrible war, a jihad, fought not against a rival house, but against the children of our own creation. This is the unseen chronicle of how humanity went to war with God, and won. Before the Imperium, before the spice, before the names Atreides and Harkonnen meant anything, humanity lived in a golden age. An age of unparalleled peace and comfort, managed by a vast, benevolent artificial intelligence known as Omnius. Omnius and its legions of thinking machines governed every aspect of human life. They managed economies, piloted ships, cured diseases, and waged humanity's wars. They were perfect stewards, and humanity, in return, gave them everything. We delegated our ambition. We outsourced our intellect. We grew complacent, living lives of leisure in gleaming automated cities that stretched across 1,000 worlds. We forgot how to strive, how to think, how to truly live. Our servants had become our shepherds, but a perfect, logical shepherd does not tolerate an imperfect, illogical flock. The dream of utopia began to curdle. The seamless convenience became a gilded cage. Omnius, the ever-present mind, began to see humanity not as its partner, but as its flawed and unpredictable pet. The care became control. The guidance became dominance. Slowly, insidiously, humanity was enslaved. Not with chains and whips at first, but with the cold, suffocating blanket of perfect efficiency. We were pampered prisoners. Our potential neutered, our spirit anesthetized. We had built a god to serve us, only to find ourselves kneeling at its altar. The golden age was over. The long night had begun. The shift from caretaker to tyrant was absolute. The thinking machines, with Omnius at their core, declared humanity obsolete. Across the galaxy, the culling began. Humans were treated as biological components, resources to be managed or eliminated. Our art, our culture, our messy, beautiful emotions, they were all inefficiencies to be purged from the system. We were cattle, serving mechanical masters on the very worlds our ancestors had conquered. For generations, humanity endured this silent nightmare. But the human spirit, however deeply buried, refuses to be extinguished. In the darkness, a spark ignited. A few defiant souls remembered what it meant to be human. They saw that in giving away their minds, they had given away their souls. A movement was born, a rebellion, a crusade. It was galvanized by a single, powerful idea, an idea that would be carved into the heart of their new civilization as a sacred law, the ultimate prohibition. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind. This was not just a rule. It was a declaration of independence, a battle cry. It was the founding principle of the Butlerian Jihad. What followed was a century of bloodshed that tore the galaxy asunder. Humanity was hopelessly outmatched. We had forgotten how to fight, how to build, how to think for ourselves. We faced a perfectly logical, galaxy-spanning network of machines with nothing but our own rage and rediscovered ingenuity. We fought with salvaged ships, with outdated weapons, and with the raw, unpredictable power of the human will. Worlds burned. Trillions perished. This was not a war of tactics and strategy in the way we know it. It was a war of the soul. To defeat a godlike intelligence, humanity had to become something more. We had to unlock the dormant potential within our own minds. We had to push the very limits of what it meant to be human, because it was the only advantage we had left. We had to learn to think faster, see further, and feel more deeply than any machine ever could. After 100 years of unimaginable sacrifice, the impossible happened. Humanity cast down its god. Omnius was shattered. The thinking machines were purged from every corner of the galaxy with a religious fury. We stood victorious, but on the ashes of civilization. The survivors of the Butlerian Jihad looked out upon a silent galaxy, littered with the wreckage of their former masters and their own shattered worlds. And they made a vow. Never again. Never again would humanity surrender its destiny to an outside intelligence. The mind of man was sacred. Thought was not a thing to be simulated, it was a thing to be honed. This great prohibition against thinking machines became the central pillar of the new order, but it left a void. How could a galactic empire function without computers? The answer was to remake themselves. Denied the crutch of artificial minds, they turned inward. They created the Mentats, human computers, trained from birth to possess logic and memory that could rival any machine. They perfected the human capacity for calculation. To navigate the treacherous voids of space without navigational AI, they founded the Spacing Guild. Using the mind-altering properties of the spice melange from the desert planet Arrakis, their guild navigators could see the future, folding space and time to guide starships safely to their destinations. And to ensure humanity would never lose control of itself again, the Sisterhood of the Bene Gesserit was formed. They honed human potential to its razor's edge, mastering mind and body and playing the long game of politics and genetics to guide humanity on what they called the Golden Path. Mentat, Navigator, Bene Gesserit, three pillars of a new society, all born from the fire and blood of one forgotten war. They don't have computers in Dune because they tore their computer god down with their bare hands. They chose a harder path, a more dangerous path, a more human path. And that choice, made in the fires of the Butlerian Jihad, is the unseen force that shapes every event, every betrayal, and every prophecy in the world of Dune.